Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees to our weekly Bhakti Vaibhav class. It is festive season. All the devotees are busy with so many services, preparing for Balram Jayanti, Janmashtami, and many other events, Prabhupada appearance day, etc. So, thank you very much for joining in spite of your busy schedules. In addition to that, we also have Maharaj class in the temple. So, devotees might be there, many of them. So, hope and pray that they'll join soon. So, in the last class, while discussing from 29th chapter, wherein in the beginning, Mother Devati asked three questions. Just the way you discussed about different divisions and different angas of Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, similarly, if there are any divisions and angas of Bhakti, kindly describe them. Yes, Lord Kapila talked about Bhakti in the mode of ignorance, Bhakti in the mode of passion, Bhakti in the mode of goodness, Bhakti beyond three modes. And then the different angas of bhakti, just like Srila Rupa Goswami describes the 64 angas of Svedi Sadhana Bhakti in Bhakti Rasamur Sindhu. And those 64 angas of Vedi Sadhana Bhakti, like succinctly about 15, 12 to 15 different instructions, different angas. Lord Kapila kind of summarizes here. And then, in order to progress on the path of bhakti, one need to be careful about committing offense. Offenses generally takes place because of disrespect. So, in order to caution all of us while practicing bhakti, we should never ever commit such kind of mistakes. For that reason, Lord Kapila was saying that, see, kindly understand. I am the same person who is there in the temple in the deity form, is also there as a Paramatma in the heart of each and every living entity. If a person simply worshipping the deity and disrespecting the people, he is actually doing a imitation bhakti. So one should actually respect each and every person, seeing the presence of Paramatma in each and every living entity, and respect them as if the Supreme Lord has arrived in front of you. And feel for the stomach of others. Just the way we feel for our own stomachs, we should also feel for the stomach of others. And we should always treat others with great respect and offer them gifts out of generosity. So like that. So there are so many instructions have been indicated according to that regard, so that we can avoid committing offense, by which we can progress in the spiritual path very quickly. And then the next question comes. So how should we respect? Is the respect should be given to everyone same way? So is there any gradation among that? Yes. Unlike the jnanis, for whom Lord Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Astine. Sunichaiva Svakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. The Pandita means Jnani. Jnana Yoga practitioner, Ashtanga Yoga practitioner should see every living entity as Atma only. Pandita Samadarshina. Brahmana, Gavi, Astina, Sunichaiva, Sapaka, everyone. But in the case of devotee, it is not like that. There is a gradation. The gradation has been indicated in the previous couple of verses, which we have seen in the last class. क्या हो गया? हाँ. So here it is said that Jiva Sheshtai Ajivanam. Comparison to Ajivas, the entities with living symptoms are better. And better than them are Tata Prana Brutam Sube. Those living entities who have the experience of prana, they are much better. So Ajiva means dry grass, Jiva is the fresh grass, Pranabhuta means the live stones, Tatasa Chittam Pravaras. So better than those who experience the life symptoms are those who experience some consciousness. They are Indriya Vritya, they are like entities like no, no, the entities like the mountains. The mountains in the past used to fly across, so they are considered to be like that. And better than them are the entities with Indriya Vrittaya, which can do the functionalities of the different senses, which can experience. They are like the plants. Plants to some extent their senses are evolved and they can express their senses. So then, superior to the trees with touch are the trees with taste. So among the plants which have touch sensation are inferior, and superior to them are those plants which have taste sensation, and superior to them are the plants which can smell, and superior to them are the plants which can hear, something like that. So all among the plants, and above the plants, the living entities which are having the concept of smell. So entities with a smell, such as small insects and flowers. So better than that, plants are small insects in the flowers. So they can actually smell and they can go where the eatables are there, nectar flowers are there, and they get the nectar from those flowers. Superior to them are the entities who protect themselves by hearing, such as water insects. So better than the smell, living entities are the hearing in entities, those who can hear and then protect themselves. So something like that. So then, Rupa Beda Vidas Tatra Tatascho Beyato Dada. So then, better than those entities who can protect themselves by hearing like aquatics are the entities which can distinguish form or superior. They can see and understand what is what. So they are the better entities. Who are the example for that? So beings that can distinguish the form is crows. So better than the insects are the crows, and better than the crows are those insects, those entities which have teeth on upper and bottom side. The snakes. The snakes are better than the crows which have teeth above and below. And then better than the snakes are the entities with many legs, such as bees. And better than the bees which are with many legs are the animals with four legs. And better than the animals with four legs are the humans with two legs. So like that there is a gradation. And then among the humans, those who follow Varnashram Dharma are the best. There are some people who does not want to follow Varnashram Dharma, they are lowest. But those who follow Varnashram Dharma, they are best. Among those who are performing Varnashram Dharma, there are Shudras, better than them are the Kshatriya, the Vaishyas, better than them are the Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriyas, better than them are the Brahmanas. And among the Brahmanas, of course, somebody who is born in Brahmanical family can be called as Brahmana, but among those who go to Gurukul and study the Vedas are the better. Among those Brahmanas children who go to Gurukul and study the Vedas, but better than them are those who actually understand the meaning of the Vedas. So study everyone will do, but those who understand the meaning of the Vedas are much better. The Brahmana students, the Gurukul students from the Brahmana community who study the Vedas and who understand the meaning of the Vedas are best. And better than them are those Brahmana students who not only understand the meaning, who can clarify the doubts of others, and who can establish the tattva based on the Vedas. That means they are tattvajnas. So those Brahmana students are the best. So after completing such kind of Vedic education, they come home and practice their Brahmanical life, performing all the dharmas according to their varna and grihasashrama. They are much better than those who simply study in the Gurukul. That means those who study in the Gurukul are brahmachari, and better than the brahmachari are the grihastha who practices what they have studied in the Gurukul in full. Tata Shreyan Swakarmakrit. They perform all the activity that are expected from them from Shastra. Then this is Grihastha. Grihastha Brahmanas are better than the Brahmanas, Brahmachari Brahmanas. And better than the Grihastha Brahmanas who perform Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga at home. So performing all the duties means they practice Nishkama Karma Yoga. Here in the Brahmachari ashram, they are doing Swadhyaya only. But when they come home, they become Grihasthas and they perform all the household duties as a Brahmana. They are called as Nishkama Karma Yogis. And better than them are those who enter into Vanaprastha and Sannyas order and practice Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. Mukta sangas tato bhuyan. Ado adogdha dharmamatmana. So that means those having performed all the household duties tirelessly, selflessly, not willing to enjoy the fruits, not willing to go to Swarga, but instead entering into Vanaprastha or Sannyasa and practicing more and more severe austerities in order to attain liberation, Mukta Sanghas, in the association of other people who also aspiring to attain liberation, they take up Vanaprastha or Sannyasa and practice full-fledged Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga in company with Tapasya and Vairagya. They are best. From the society point of view, these are the best people. But from Lord Kapila's point of view, there are better than those are those devotees who dedicate everything for the service of the Supreme Lord, who dedicate everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Tasman mai arpita ashesha kriyartatma nirantaraha. Not once or twice, nirantara. Those who continuously surrender themselves to Krishna. Those who continuously surrender everything they possess in the service of Krishna or Vishnu. Mai arpita mana pumsho mai sanyasya karmana. Mai arpita mana. This is there no, in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text number 7. Mai arpita mano buddhir mame veshasya samshayam. So this verse comes just after the two important verses, 8th chapter. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajati ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya tada sadbhava bhavite. अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरणमुक्त्वा कलेवरम या परैति समद्भावम नाति यत्र संशय. After these two verses comes तस्मा सर्वात्मना राजन, sorry, तस्मा सर्वेषु कालेषु मा मनुस्मर युद्धे च. मयि अर्पित मनोबुद्धिर. Here मयि अर्पित mana is there in the Bhagavad Gita. मयि अर्पित मनोबुद्धिर माम एव ईष्यसि असंशयम. Such kind of people will come to me without doubt. But here Lord Kapila is talking about the process. So tasman, therefore, mai arpita ashesha kriya atma nirantaraha. Those who offer completely, ashesha means completely, kriya artha atma, offering their activities, offering their possessions, offering themselves, their mind and their intelligence, everything. Nirantara, not once or twice, continuously. Mai arpita atmana pumsha. They offered themselves, man buddhi, ahankara, chetana, grass body, subtle body, everything in the service of Supreme Lord. Mayi sanyasya karmana. And they perform all the activities having dedicated to me, not with the intention to enjoy the fruits of those karmas. Na pashyami param bhutam akartuhu samadarsanat. We can never ever find such kind of a person anywhere else. So, in that way, I do not see a greater living entity. Na pashyami param bhutam. There is no one superior to them. That such a person. Na pashyami. I cannot see any person superior to him than this person who has offered himself to me, Mayarpita Atmanaha, giving up all varnashram action, Mai Sanyasya Karmana, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Who thinks that the Lord alone inspires his bhakti, Akartuhu, I am not doing anything. It's the Lord who is utilizing this body to do his own service. I am nothing, I am simply witness. And who identifies with others' happiness and distress, Samadarshanath. So here Samadarshana meaning is not that he sees everyone as Atma. Instead, he sees everyone's happiness as his own happiness, everyone's suffering is his own suffering. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text number 29, Lord Krishna qualifies the processes of the different sadhakas. Anyone remembers what was the verse? Chapter 5, text number 29. The famous verse.
Bhuktaram, Bhuktaram Yagnatapasam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Surudam Sarva Bhutanam, Nyatva Mam Shantim Rachati.
Here Lord says that those Karma Yoga practitioners who understanding that Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer, perform all their karmas and offer to me, they will attain perfection. And those Jnana Yoga practitioners who perform intense tapasya, understanding that I am the enjoyer of the fruits of their tapasya, they will attain perfection of liberation very soon. And those Ashtanga yogis who perform Ashtanga yoga process with going through intense tapasya and vairagya, understanding that the Lord is Sarvaloka Maheshwara, Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the Ishvara for each and everything. Annantarastha Paramanucha Antarastham, Ishvara Sarva Bhutana Muddesh Arjuna Tishtati, Aham Sarvasya Prabho Mattam Sarvam Pravartate. So like that. He is the Lord of everything that exists. With that understanding, if they perform Ashtanga Yoga, they will attain perfection very quickly. And then, Suhrudam Sarva Bhutanam, those devotees who practice bhakti, understanding that I am their ever well-wisher. I am the well-wisher of not only the practicing sadhakas, I am the well-wisher of each and every living entity. Understanding this, following the footsteps of the Supreme Lord, becoming a supreme well-wisher of each and every living entity, such kind of devotee will attain perfection very quickly. Jnatva mam, understanding me like this, Shanti Bruchati, they will attain perfection very quickly. That is the qualifying verse of all the sadhanas. So here Samadarshana means, if the Supreme Lord is the well-wisher of every living entity, as a representative of Supreme Lord, I should also be the well-wisher of the every living entity. That is called Samadarshana. So that Srila Prabhupada writes in each and every correspondence that you are ever a well-wisher. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, what Srila Prabhupada did, what all the Acharyas did is nothing but Suhrudam Sarva Bhutanam. Well-wisher of all the suffering conditioned souls. They have given up their own personal comforts and they have dedicated their life and soul in the service of humanity especially, and in the service of all the variety of living entities in general, for our well-being, for our perfection, for our happiness, for our liberation. They have taken up sannyas and they traveled the length and breadth of all over Bharatavarsha, distributing Krishna consciousness to one and all. That is their nature of Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam. And here Lord Kapila says that such kind of Suhrudam Sarvabhuta person is the best among all, and you cannot find anybody superior to him. So such a person should be given the highest respect. So according to the gradation of the living entities, the respect also should be shown to one and all. So that was the idea behind describing all these things. So let us see what Lord Kapila is trying to say. Superior to the Jnani is the person who engages in worship of my name and form and offers his wealth, offer his wealth, identity of I and mine, offers his mind and intelligence unto me without the impurity of karma jnana. Such a person has no impurities of karma and jnana. Instead, with a pure heart, with selflessness nature, being the ever well-wisher of each and every living entity, offers whatever he has. What all a person can have? A person can have wealth. A person can have identity of I and mine. A person can have one's own mind and intelligence. And all these things are offered to Supreme Lord. And after offering them, continuously chants, focuses on discussing Nama Rupa Gunala Supreme Personality of Godhead. He renounces all karmas in order to attain me. That means he renounces all karmas that offers material results. That means he does not perform any karma in order to attain some material results for one's own. Otherwise, he performs all the karmas for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. So like that we have to understand. Having given up Varnashrama, for it has been stated in 3:25-22, they perform firm bhakti to me with exclusive devotion, giving up all actions to attain me, giving up friends and relatives. My ananyena bhavena bhaktim kurvanti ye drudam matkrite takta karmanas takta sajana bandhava. This was a verse spoken by Lord Kapila in the 25th chapter. This is basically nothing but Sarvadharman Paritijya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. In that Sarva Dharman, there is one Dharma that one has one's responsibility towards one's own family members, friends, and relatives, and society, etc. But in order to serve Lord Krishna, having dedicated oneself to Lord, for example, like if one has taken sannyas or vanaprastha, so one will give up one's own family, friends, and relatives. He travels from one pilgrimage to other pilgrimage, exclusively dedicated to service the Supreme Lord and preaching Krishna consciousness. That is the meaning of this verse. That is the meaning of Saradharman Paritijya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. That means exclusive service of the Supreme Lord, having taken retirement from the worldly responsibilities. So like that. He is a non-doer, akartuhu, since he is without identity as an independent doer. He thinks, even in my performance of bhakti, the Supreme Lord produces my bhakti. Even he is practicing morning to night, so working very hard, and he says that I am not doing anything. Whatever is being done by me, it is all being carried out by the Supreme Lord. I am only an instrument. Nacho, nacho, Prabhu. Like that, Prabhupada says. He sees all others' happiness and distress as his own happiness and distress. Atmaupannena sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna. Sukham va yadiva dukkham sayogi paramamata. Who is the best yogi according to Lord Krishna? I consider that practicing yogi who sees equally everything as equal to himself in all circumstances, whether in happiness or suffering, to be the topmost yogi. This is what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Samadarshana does not have the same meaning as Gita, as the Gita verse describing the person who sees the Brahmana, cow, elephant, dog, and dog eater as equal. This is Brahmana Kaviyastine Sunicheva Spakecha Pantasmachana, that not like that. Since that interpretation would contradict the present section of classification of inferior and superior beings. Hence, Lord Kapila talks about the practical dealings. A jnani and a yogi might see Atma and Paramatma everywhere in every living entity. Yeah, yes, that is their sadhana recommends. But Bhakti sadhana recommends that when you see living entities, see the Supreme Lord and respect them. But while respecting them, see their consciousness in this material world and accordingly offer respects. So something like that. Therefore, best is the person who dedicates his activities such as hearing and chanting, his wealth, his identity, mind, intelligence, etc. to me, and who identifies with others' suffering and happiness as his own happiness and suffering. Such kind of person is called a devotee. Such kind of devotee is the best among all living entities in this world. So this is the nature of gradation. If we understand this, then we will never ever dare to commit aparad at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. If a Vaishnava, if a devotee who possesses this kind of qualities, the best among all people, how can we dare to commit an offense to him? So like that. So we should be constantly reminded of this particular theme, so that we will become careful about our dealings with our fellow devotees. So like that. So this is the last verse of this section. So we'll discuss this. Afterwards, we'll take some questions if some devotees have from the previous discussion. Manasaitani bhutani
मनसैतानि भूतानि
pranamed bahumanayan
प्रणमेद्बहुमानयन्
Ishvaro jiva kalaya
ईश्वरः जीवो कलया
pravishto bhagavaniti.
इष्टो भगवानिति. Translation. Such a perfect devotee offers respects to every living entity because he is under the firm conviction that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has entered the body of every living entity as the super soul or controller. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, one should offer great respects with the mind to all living entities, thinking that the Supreme Lord has entered that entity along with his portion in the form of the Jivatma. So, see the body of each and every living entity, the place of residence of Jivatma and Paramatma. So, in that way. So, therefore, one should respect, because there Paramatma, in the Supreme Lord himself is there in the as Paramatma, then why should we not respect? So that is the understanding. Such a person should offer great respects with the mind, body, and everything, words, to all the jivas, thinking that the Supreme Lord has entered into each and every living entity. So that is kind of summary. So even though there is a gradation, but behind all the gradation is there is Jivatma and Paramatma in each and every living form. Therefore, they are worthy of our respect. So continuously offer respect. Lord Kapila conclude the topic of Bhakti Yoga just explained along with Ashtanga Yoga that he had explained in the previous chapter. Now, till now he discussed about Bhakti Yoga in chapter 25, then Jnana Yoga in chapter 26, 27, Ashtanga Yoga in 28, again Bhakti Yoga in 29. Kind of now is kind of concluding that section of discussion on Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yogascha Yogascha
Bhakti Yogascha
Bhakti
Yogascha
Maya Manavi Udiraya Udiri
मया मानवीयुधिरतः
Yayor Ekatarenaiva
एकतरेणैव
Purushaha Purusham Vrajet.
पुरुषः पुरुषं व्रजेत. Translation: My dear mother, O daughter of Manu, a devotee who applies the science of devotional service and mystic yoga in this way can achieve the abode of the Supreme Person simply by that devotional service.
Yeah, it says that, my dear mother, he who follows whatever I have discovered till now will definitely attain perfection according to their sadhana. It's like that. O daughter of Manu, Manavi, I have explained Bhakti Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, by which a person will attain the Supreme Lord as Bhagavan or as impersonal Brahman. Those who practice Bhakti Yoga, they attain Bhagavan, and those who practice Ashtanga Yoga or Jnana Yoga, they will attain impersonal Brahman. Because that is the process, that is the goal. Accordingly, they will attain. So, in that way, the person should attain the Supreme Lord. That means that he will directly meet the Lord's form full of consciousness by Bhakti Yoga. By Ashtanga Yoga, he can directly experience the impersonal Brahman aspect of the Supreme Lord. That means by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, eventually one goes to Vaikuntha and experiences the form, the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord, about which he was continuously hearing, discussing, and contemplating, and doing so, worshipping the form and so many things. And having gone to Vaikuntha, he will see that form every day, every minute, every hour for the rest of eternity. That is what happens. And for those who are practicing Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, you are talking about Brahman, who are meditating upon Brahman, who are discussing about Brahman elaborately, will go to Brahman and will experience Brahman in person, personally. So like that. That is how they attain the perfection of the sadhana. Both of these accomplishments are indicated by the phrase attaining me. Yayoho Purusham Vrajet, according to the scriptures. Just like Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavan Yas Chasmi Tatvataha Tato Mam Tatvato Jnatva Vishade Tadantaram. By the practice of bhakti, one will understand me in Tatvataha, to the extent I exist. So some of the sadhakas understand me as Tat Brahman, then they eventually attain Brahman. Vishate Tadantaram means they will attain that, they will enter that place. Those who contemplate upon Brahman, they will enter into Brahman. And those who contemplate upon Bhagavan and Vaikuntha, they enter into Vaikuntha. And they will see Bhagavan there. So like that. That is the understanding. Both of these accomplishments are indicated by the phrase attaining me. So like that. I have described to you about Bhakti Yoga and Ashtanga Yogas, by which a person can attain the Supreme Lord as Bhagavan and Brahman. So, in that way. So, this is how one attains the Supreme Lord in his two different features. Okay? Yes, any questions? Based on the previous class discussion, previous class summary. Last week we could not take questions.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. Your voice is not audible now.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
हरे
Mataji.
कृष्ण। प्रभु जी, आपने जैसे कहा कि हमको सबके दया होनी चाहिए, तो उसमें 4 पाँव वाले उससे अच्छे बेस्ट है, वो है उससे बेस्ट। तो हाउ वी कैन कीप, सी वी हैव सो मेनी वाइल्ड एज ए हाउसवाइफ, वी हैव, रोज हम बहुत सारी जीव हत्या करते हैं, जैसे मच्छर है, चींटी है, कॉकरोच है। इफ वी आर, अगर उन पे हम दया दिखाते हैं तो वी आर द सफरर। तो हाउ वी कैन टेक दिस इन ए पॉजिटिव?
Kindly refer to our class on second canto, first chapter, text number 3.
Okay.
There, as a grasta,
Hmm.
one obviously commits some kind of we can say sin also, because there will be little bit violence involved in every activity that we do at home, while grooming, while cooking, while cleaning, and then in just to live in the home also. Nowadays it is because of the uncleanliness, there are so many mosquitoes, insects, and so many things, so we may tend to kill them also. So they are there. So these are like kind of default activities that one cannot avoid, but Shastra gives a remedy. Yes, since one cannot avoid, there is a remedy for that. That is called Panchashuna Yajna. That is Bhuta Yajna, Rishi Yajna, Deva Yajna, Pitri Yajna, and Ru Yajna. By doing these 5 yajnas, whatever sins that we commit unintentionally, unavoidably, can be mitigated. Not intentionally, but unintentionally performed sins and all can be cleared. That is the Panchasuna Yajna that we discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada quotes this verse from Bhagavatam. Devarshi Bhutaptarunam cha Pitrunam Nakinkaro Nayam Runisha Rajan Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartum. If one is a completely surrendered devotee, yeah, we can say he is exempted. But otherwise, if we are practicing devotees, we are recommended to do all these 5 yajnas. Rishi Yajna, studying Shastra, preserving it and teaching to the next generation. Deva Yajna, performing Yajna. And Pitru Yajna, performing Shraddha ceremonies, Tarpana, offering Tarpana, etc. And Ru Yajna, Atith Devo Bhava, whoever comes to our home, treating them as the Lord has come to our home and respectfully and to take care of them. And Bhuta Yajna, take care of the other living entities as much as possible. So to whatever extent is possible, to that extent we need to take care of the other living entities. So we cannot take care every living entity, but to whatever extent is possible, that much we should take care. So these are the 5 kinds of yajnas that are recommended to be followed by each and every person while living in this world.
And
Yes, Mataji.
हम जब दया दिखाते हैं, we do some, किसने कहा मुझे ये problem है, we are helping them, so they take us as a granted financially or whatever may it may. So our intention is pure कि हम, we want to do श्रुद है, सर्वभूतानां जो है, but they take it as a for granted कि यार इसको तो बोल देंगे ये बेवकूफ है, ये मुझे दे ही देगा, ये मुझे करके ही देगा. तो how to deal with this?
It's once it is done, it is done. If we know, don't do second time. Do for somebody else who are actually in need. That doesn't mean that everyone is like that. Everyone is like cheaters. But nowadays cheaters are also number is increasing. But still, there are people who are in dire necessity also. I mean, see, whatever is practical, whatever is best, that should be done. It's not because okay they are asking, not like that. So by our help, they should not degrade further. So that thoda sa carefully we should do if we want to do.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Other devotees, any questions?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Shloka 34, Prabhuji.
Uh,
How to situated or how to remain in firm convictions. Because what when with at the time of dealing with devotees also, to some argument we get down to the material platform, or we get down to we situated in the a situation created that we start arguing each other. So at that time, how to develop this firm conviction?
Prabhuji, there is no kind of immediate short solution. So one should be hearing this particular understanding again and again. By hearing more and more, we become more and more conscious. And by remaining more and more conscious, we become more and more careful. Otherwise, we behave like any normal person. Outside people, how they will respond, we'll also tend to respond if we are not conscious enough. We become conscious by hearing more and more about the importance of it. So this is what I see as the solution. We should hear more and we should see such kind of people more and more so that we become enthusiastic to follow such kind of principles. So this is my little understanding.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Correction. Any other devotees? Okay. If there are no questions, we'll go further. So now a new section is about to start. So we discussed the answer for the first question, the different angas of bhakti. Now the second question of Mother Devhuti was, please talk about the power of time. By whose fear one will take up bhakti seriously. So because time, there is something called time which informs us that, hey, my dear sir, this is your 30th birthday and this is your 31st birthday, this is your 32nd birthday. That means we are coming close to our death. So before death comes, let us do some bhakti. Let us do some sincere and serious bhakti. So we become fearful and we become cautious in order to take a bhakti seriously. So that will be answered now in the remaining part of the chapter. So Mother Devhuti is kind of echoing. You have said that one attains the Supreme Lord by either process, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. You do not say one attains me, the Supreme Lord. Who is that person? In response, Lord Kapila puts his forefinger on his chest and clarifies the point, the meaning is this. So by those who are practicing Bhakti Yoga, they attain Bhagavan. Those who are practicing Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, attain Brahman. So indicating that Tat Purusha. So in the previous verse, Lord Kapila used the word Purusham Vrajet. Purushaha, Purusham Vrajet. Purusha, that person. Purusha is a person. They will attain him. But who is that person? So in order to answer that person, Lord Kapila is putting his forefinger on his own chest and saying that that person is me only. That person whom devotees call as Bhagavan, that person whom yogis call as Paramatma, that person whom Jnanis call as Brahman, it is me only. That he will tell in the first verse. And then I am not only Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, I am also time. I am also Prakriti. I am also Jiva. I am also Karma. Stating that 5 things, and we explain the characteristics of time in the 37th verse onwards. So that's how time is connected to Supreme Lord is been indicated here. Etad Bhagavato Rupam.
एतद् भगवतो रूपम्
Brahmana Paramatmanah.
ब्रह्मणः परमात्मनः
Param Pradhanam Purusham.
परं प्रधानं पुरुषं
Daivam Karma Vicheshritam.
दैवं कर्म विशेषितम्
Rupa Bedaspadam Divyam.
रूपभेदास्पदं दिव्यम्
काल इति अभिधीयते
काल इति अभिधीयते
भूतानां महदादीनां
भूतानां महदादीनां
यतो भिन्नदृशां वयम्
कुतो भिन्नदृशां भयम्. This purpose whom the individual soul must approach is the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Brahman and Paramatma. He is the transcendental chief personality and his activities are all spiritual. The time factor who causes the transformation of the various material manifestations is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who doesn't know the time is the same Supreme Personality is afraid of the time factor.
Lord Kapila, keeping his forefinger on his chest, is saying that Etad Bhagavato Rupam, that Bhagavan is me, who appears also as Brahman and Paramatma is also me, and who are located beyond material nature, and who I am also defined as Prakriti. I am not only defined as Bhagavan, Paramatma and Brahman, but I am also defined as Pradhana or Prakriti. I am also defined as Purusha, that is Jiva. I am also defined as Daivim, Karma, which is the reaction of various activities, Karma Vicheshtitam. And I am also the astonishing time, Divyam Kala, the cause of the transformation of the material objects, Rupa Beda Aspadam. It is the time which is causing the creation, maintenance, destruction, from which fear arises for living entities with material bodies in ignorance. Mahadadinam Binna Drisham. The fear is only for those people who identify with their body. Those people who identify themselves with the soul will never have the fear. That is the understanding. I am the form of Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Prakriti, Jiva, Karma, and time. I am all these things. In Bhagavad Gita, we see the 5 points: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. So, Karma, Kala, Jiva, Prakriti, and then Ishvara. Ishvara has 3 features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So, like that. All these are me only. So, like that, Lord is indicating. He who becomes Bhagavan to the devotees also becomes Brahman to the Jnanis and also becomes Paramatma to the yogis. That also is a form beyond Prakriti. So just like Bhagavan is beyond Prakriti, Brahman is also beyond Prakriti, Paramatma is also beyond Prakriti. So like that. The meaning is, I, your son, known as Kapila, I am the Supreme Lord. I am that Supreme Lord whom the devotees will attain in Vaikuntha, the Jnanis and yogis will attain in Brahman. So then he says that not only that, but Prakriti, Jiva, Fate, and Kala are my form. I am Pradhana, its instigator, the Jiva. I am the fate or karma of the Jiva, the various reactions arising by pious or sinful activities. I am the time, my form which has astonishing influence, which is the cause of objects transforming. It is the time which causes our birth. It is the time which causes our growth. It is the time which causes our giving byproducts. It is the time that causes our stay. It is the time that causes our dwindling. It is the time that causes our death. All these transformations are happening because of the influence of time only. The Rupa Beda, the transformation of the Rupa, is all because of the influence of time. It has already been said that the gunas are agitated from a state of equilibrium by time. They are transformed into another state by Swabhava. The Mahatattva appears by karmas of the Jiva. All this is under the direction of Supreme Lord. This is from 2nd canto 5th chapter during the time of creation, when Mahavishnu, glancing upon Prakriti, impregnates Prakriti with Jiva Shakti and Kala Shakti. So Kala Shakti means Kala, Jiva Shakti along with Jiva Shakti, their karma and Swabhava comes. That means Kala, Karma, Swabhava, these 3 interact with the 3 modes. As a result of that, the 3 modes will transform and produce Mahatattva. Kalad Guna Vetikara. So from Kala, the 3 modes which are in equilibrium state becomes agitated. Harinama Swabhavata, by Jiva Swabhava, they transform. Karmano Janma Mahata. By the influence of karmas, the transformed gunas will produce Mahatattva. Purushadishita, the both. All these things are happening under the supervision of Mahavishnu. Like that. Lord Kapila begins to explain about the qualities of time previously explained. Since Mother Devoti asked about the time, please talk about the influence of time by which one becomes afraid and practices bhakti seriously. So that for that now Lord Kapila is going to talk about time. So before talking about time, he has to introduce what is time. Time is non-different from my another form. Like that. The jivas who identify with Mahatattva and other elements, whose identities have a creation, middle and end, who are covered with ignorance, develop fear of time. Those people who identify with their body, they are always afraid of what will happen tomorrow, what will happen now, when will I die, how will I die, like that. Such kind of fear will be there. So now, the rest of the chapter talks about the various characteristics of time. Next verse talks about the method of creating fear. So previously, those who identify with the body, they have fear. But why they will get fear? That is explained in the next verse. Yo anta pravishya bhutani.
यो अन्तः प्रविश्य भूतानि
भूतानि
भूतेरत्ति अखिलाश्रयः
भूतेरति अखिलाश्रय
भूते
सविष्णुवाक्याद्यज्ञोऽसौ
स विष्णु अख्य अधियज्ञोऽसौ
काला कलयतां प्रभु.
काला कलयतां प्रभु. Translation: Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, is a time factor and a master of all masters. He enters everyone's heart. He is the support of everyone, and he causes every being to be annihilated by envy.
Time, the shelter of all living entities, Akhilashraya. All of us are living under the shelter of time only. The master of those controlled, who, having entered all beings, destroys them through other living entities, is called Vishnu, the giver of results of sacrifice. Adi Yajna Asau. It's basically Mahavishnu expanding himself as time, controlling all of us. That control involves our birth and our death. Our birth is caused by somebody, and our death is also caused by somebody else. Our parents are the cause of our birth, and some disease or this or that are the cause of our death. And especially when Lord Kapila is speaking or when Lord Krishna is speaking, the general understanding is in relation to the Kshatriyas. When the Kshatriyas, when they go to battle, so one warrior will be killed by other warrior. So in that way, it is said that the death is caused by somebody else. They are not talking about somebody who is dying in their home, having bedridden. This death is all about the death is due to warriors in the battlefield. Like that. Entering into all beings, Lord Vishnu is the shelter of all beings. Destroys them by other living entities. Time called Lord Vishnu is the giver of results of sacrifice since he is the controller of sacrifice. He is the master of those controlled. He not only gives birth and death as time, he also gives the results of all our endeavors. Yeah, we work hard, we get the results in time. So like that. So next, what are the other characteristics of time? Nachasya kachid daito, nachasya kachid daito. Quickly, please.
चास्य कश्चित् दयितो
Na dvesho na cha bandhava.
द्वेष्यो न च बान्धवः
Avishati apramatosau.
आविश्यते अप्रमत्तोऽसौ
Pramattam janamantakrit.
प्रमत्तम् अन्तःकृत्
Yadbayadvati vatoyam.
यद्भयाद्वाति वा अतोऽयम्
Suryastapati yadbayad.
सूर्यास्तपति यद्भयात्
Yadbayad varshate devo.
यद्भयात् वर्षते देवो
Bhagano bhati yadbayad.
भगनो भाति यद्भयात्. No one is dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not is anyone his enemy or friend, but he gives inspiration to those who have not forgotten him and destroys those who have.
Time
Out
holds
of
no
fear
one dear.
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Continue, Prabhuji, continue.
out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the wind blows. Out of fear of him, the sun shines. Out of fear of him, the rain pours forth flowers, showers, and out of fear of him, the host of heavenly bodies shed their luster.
Yeah. Time holds no one dear. Nakasha Satchidaita and hates no one. Na dvesha. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshasya na priya. And it is friendly to no one. Nacha bandhava. Time always awake. Apramatta. We may be sleeping during night time, sometimes daytime also, but time is always awake. The bringer of death, Antagrat. Destroy the living entities who are unaware of its existence. We may be busy doing so many things, suddenly death will come. Who knows? Heart attack will come and die. Nowadays it is happening so much. For no reason, person is just doing so many some things and falls down and then in half an hour leaves the body. Out of fear of time, the wind blows. Yadbayat vati vatoyam. The sun produces heat. Surya tapati yadbayat. The Indra produces rain. Yadbayat varshati devo. Varshati Indro or Varshati devo. And the stars shine. Bhagano bhati yadbayat. All these things are happening by the fear of time. So these are the characteristics. Time holds no one dear, it hates no one, it is friendly to no one, it is always awake, it is the bringer of death, it destroys the living and all living entities who are unaware of its existence. All the devatas controlling nature perform their functions out of fear of time, which represents the Supreme Lord. These are other characteristics of the time. Then, next. Yadvanaspatayo bita
यद् वनस्पतयो भीता
लताश्चौषधिभिः सह
लताश्चौषधिभिः सह
स्वे स्वे काले अभिगृह्णन्ति
स्वे स्वे काले अभिगृह्णन्ति
पुष्पाणि च फलानि च
पुष्पाणि च फलानि च
स्रवन्ति सरितोऽबीता
स्रवन्ति सरितो भीता
नो सर्पति उददीर्यत यथा
नोत्सर् नोत्सर्पति उदधिर्यथा
अग्निरिन्दे सगिरिभिः
अग्निरिन्दे स गिरिभिर्
पूर्णमज्जति यद्भयात्
पूर्णमज्जति यद्भयात्. Translation. Out of fears of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trees, creepers, herbs, and seasonal plants and flowers, blossoms and fructify, each in its own season. Out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the rivers flow and the oceans never overflow. Out of fear of him, only does fire burn and does the earth with its mountain not sink in the water of the universe. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, other things. So previously talked about the devatas like such as Indra, Varuna, Vayu, etc. Now, out of fear of time, the plants, creepers, and herbs produce flowers and fruits in the proper season. They grow in their respective seasons only, out of the fear of time. Out of fear of time, the rivers flow and the ocean does not overflow. The fire burns and earth with its mountains does not sink. All these things are wonderfully happening by the fear of time. All the trees and creepers produce fruits and flowers in the proper season out of fear of time. Rivers flow, oceans do not overflow, fire burns, and the earth does not sink due to the fear of time. Though overburdened with sinful people, the earth with its mountain does not sink. Kindly remember this point. Though overburdened with sinful people, the earth with its mountain does not sink. But in great difficulty, being very tolerant, the earth in the form of a cow complains of her miserable condition at the end of the Dwapar Yuga to the Supreme Lord. So this is about Janmashtami. Mother Earth, unable to tolerate the weight of the impious, sinful rulers, approaches Brahma on top of Mount Meru and informs, so my dear Brahma, please take care of me. So it's like that. So then further associated things are mentioned. Nabo dadati sarva swasatam
Nabo dadati swasatam.
Namo
padam yan niyamadada
Adam yan niyamad adha.
lokam swadeham tanute
Lokam swadeham tanute.
mahan saptabhiravrutam.
Mahan saptabhir abrutam. Translation: subject to the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sky allows outer space to accommodate all the various planets, which holds innumerable living entities. The total universal body expands with its 7 coverings under his supreme control.
By the order of time, the sky provides space for all living entities who are alive, and Brahma spreads out of his body of the planets covered by 7 layers of matter. So there are two things are mentioned. One is sky, second one is Brahma. So only by the order of time, sky provides space and Brahma spreads out his body of the planets. It's basically the lotus, which is expanded in the form of 14 planetary systems, that is which is done by Brahma. So that is called as Vairaja Brahma. The lotus of 14 planetary systems is called as Vairaja Brahma. So in that way. On the order of time, the sky gives space for the living entities, those who are breathing, not those who are dead. By the order of time, Brahma made the Mahatattva spread out this body in the form of Viraja Rupa, Vairaja Rupa. So it's like that. By the order of Brahma, by the order of time, Brahma made Mahatattva spreads out of his body in the form of the Vairaja Rupa, universal form, with planets like Bhuloka, Borloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahadala, Rasatala, Patala, Nargaloka. Like that, 14 planetary systems are made and they are maintained. On this universe of 14 planetary systems is covered by 7 universal layers. It is all happening by the fear of time. So like that. So these are all like different characteristics of time. And finally, the most important characteristics of time is mentioned in the last verse that we'll see. Gunabhimani no deva. Hare Krishna, please.
Gunabhimanino Deva
Sarga dishu asya yadbayat
Sargadishwasya Yadvayat
vartante anuyugam yesham
Vartante Anuyugam Vesham
vasha etat characharam.
Vasa Etacharacharam.
Next verse also. సో అనంతో అంతకృత్కాలో
సో అనంతో అంతకార కాలో
అనాదిర్ ఆదికృద్ అవ్యయ
అనాదిర్ ఆదికృత్ అవ్యయ
జనం జనేన జనయన్
జనం జనేన జనయన్
మారయన్ మృత్యునాంతకం
మారయన్ మృత్యునాంతకం. Out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directing demigods in charge of the mode of material nature, carry out the functions of creation, maintenance, and destruction. Everything animates and inanimate within the material world is under their control. The eternal time factor has no beginning and no end. It is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maker of the criminal world. It brings out the end of the phenomenal world. It carries on the work of creation by bringing one individual into existence from another. And likewise, it dissolves the universe by destroying even the Lord of Death, Miraj.
So finally, Lord Kapila is saying that, okay, why to talk about these small things? It is a time which regulates the activities of Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. If time is regulating the activities of Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, then what speak of other living in the universe? So that is like final conclusion. Out of fear of time, the devatas in charge of the gunas who control the universe carry out creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe in every kalpa of Brahma. Who are the in charge for creation, maintenance, and destruction? Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So they are also doing their duties out of fear of time. And fear means out of respect for time, we can say. Unchangeable time, avyaya kala. Time does not change itself without beginning, but causing everyone's birth. Creates population through mothers and fathers. That means time itself has no beginning or no birth and no change, but it causes our birth, our beginning, and the changes in our body. Same way, time which has no end but causes everyone's end destroys those subjects to death by death. So time in itself does not have any end, but it causes all our end through the medium using some instrument. So like that. That instrument is called death personified. Time, by becoming death personified, will destroy all of us. So like that. The Gunavataras Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva carry out the process of creation, maintenance, and destruction in every kalpa due to the fear of time. The time which is unchanging, time which has no end but causes everyone's end by death, time which has no beginning but causes everyone's birth. So these are the sum and substance of the characteristics of the time, total 19 in number. So in that way, time creating population through people, mothers and fathers, is the creator, is the Adikrit. So like that. So this is about the answer to second question of Mother Devahuti about the time. By understanding the characteristics of time, we become fearful and become sincere and serious in our practice of bhakti. So with that intention, she asked this question and Lord Kapila answered. Any questions till now? Hare Krishna devotees.
No problem.
Other devotees?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम. प्रभु जी ये भगवान विष्णु के ऊपर कैसे टाइम कैसे काम करेगा प्रभु? वो is the time person.
Even when you say out of fear, Lord is saying because of that, Lord can say out of fear of me, everyone is doing their duties. But people in general are not fearful. They are doing out of respect for the Lord. It is not that, see, now Janmashtami is coming, we do all the services for Janmashtami, not because of fear. We do out of our reciprocation, out of our respect for the Supreme Lord, we do all these things. So like that, all the devatas, whatever they do out of respect for the Supreme Lord. So like that we have to see. The fear is indicated because by saying fear, fear again and again, Lord Kapila is inducing fear within us. So like that we have to understand. You are getting the point?
प्रभु जी, ओके, वो प्रभु जी समझ रहा हूँ कि क्रिएशन मेंटेनेंस एंड डिस्ट्रक्शन का जो सेवा है वो ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश ये दोनों तीनों करते हैं। भगवान विष्णु तो मेंटेनेंस करते हैं, वो तो किसी के दबाव में आके तो नहीं करते हैं प्रभु जी। वो मेरा डाउट था कि काल के दबाव में आके वो कर रहे हैं क्या, मतलब।
See, now, who is maintaining the universe? Shivadaksha Vishnu.
Vishnu.
No, no, not just Vishnu. You have to give his full name. Shivadaksha Vishnu.
Shivadaksha Vishnu.
Now, who is time? We can take Mahavishnu as time. Okay? That Shivadaksha Vishnu will have some kind of respect and responsibility towards Mahavishnu. Because it is
yes,
Mahavishnu who kind of employed Shivadaksha Vishnu as the maintainer of this universe. So will he execute his duty out of responsibility or not? So like that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, bro.
Okay. Fine. If there are no questions from other devotees, so we will go to the next chapter. The next chapter is chapter 30. One more interesting chapter. All of you are able to see the slides?
Yes, bro.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So now, Mother Devahuti made third inquiry also. The third inquiry is answered in chapter 30, 31, 32, 3 chapters. What was that? So, my dear Lord, you talked about so many things. Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sankhya, all these things. Fine. So, and you also told about the importance of Bhakti to be practiced at the best of all sadhanas. Fine. But in order to practice Bhakti, one need to have a kind of proper understanding of what is happening here. See, one may say that no problem. Why do I practice Bhakti? So the answer is, no, you have to go back, come back to Godhead. The second question is that, why should I go back, come back to Godhead? Then the answer is, we should understand the contrast between the material world and the spiritual world. Okay, spiritual world का discussion तो आया already. Second canto 9th chapter, 3rd canto 15th chapter spiritual world का discussion आ गए. So material world का discussion now Lord Kapila is going to do. In the next 3 chapters, he is going to talk about what is this material world, what kind of people are living in this material world and how they are living their life. That is called samsara. The samsara of the living entities, when we hear it graphically, we understand, मुझे ये नहीं चाहिए, मुझे मैं ये नहीं रहना चाहता हूँ. So like that. In order to create that fear, Mother Devahuti, and in order to create the urgency to practice bhakti, Mother Devahuti is asking third question. Please speak about the birth and death of the living entity, hearing which a person becomes steady in one's practice of bhakti. That was the question. So thus, now in the 30th chapter, Lord Kapila explained the pains in youth, old age, death and hell of persons agitated by attachment to wife and sons. So basically, in this chapter, Lord Kapila will talk about a person who is leading his life in the mode of ignorance. How a person lives life in the mode of ignorance and what kind of destiny one will attain as a result of that kind of lifestyle. That will be explained in the 30th chapter. Lord Kapila has shown his mother in 5 chapters, 29, 25, 29. Pure Bhakti in 25 and 29. Bhakti mixed with Gunas in chapter 29. As well as Jnana Yoga 26, 27. And Ashtanga Yoga in 28 in Sattva Guna. These are all sadhakas who are aspiring to go back home, back to Godhead, who are aspiring to attain liberation. But what about others who are not aspiring to attain liberation? What is their condition? That will be explained now in the next 3 chapters. In 3 chapters, chapter 30, 31, 32, Lord Kapila now shows one after the other the results arising from the activities performed in Tamoguna, Rajoguna, and Sattoguna. So, what happens to the people who are performing their activities in the mode of ignorance, passion, and ignorance, who are not aspiring to go back home, back to Godhead? What will be their destiny? What is their life? That is what is indicated now. Okay? Virago yena purusha bhagavan sarvato bhavet achakshyato achakshva jiva lokasya vivida mama samshrita. To begin bhakti, one needs a little detachment. Thus, Mother Devoti asks about the detachment. Please tell about samsara. Please tell about the life of material world, material existence, by whose explanations one becomes detached. By hearing about the ghastly nature of this material world, we become no, mujhe ye nahi chahiye. I don't want this, I don't want this. Such kind of detachment should come in us. Thus, Lord Kapila explains now in 3 chapters the suffering of material life produced by various actions in 3 gunas without bhakti to the Lord. So those people who are performing all the activities in 3 gunas, they do not have any bhakti. So because they don't have any bhakti, what is happening to them? So that is what is indicated. Now first, chapter 30 talks about the samsara of a person in tamoguna. A tamoguni person ka जीवन कैसे होगा? That is what is indicated in this chapter very, 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 very graphically. So please don't mind that I am explaining all these things. They are there in the book Bhagavatam. So we are simply discussing. Kapila Uvacha.
Kapila Uvacha.
Tasyaitasya jano nunam.
Tasyaitas
नूनं
Nayam vedoru vikramam.
नायं वेदोरुविक्रमम्
Kalyamanopi balino.
काल्यमानो अपि बलीनो
Vayoriva ganavali.
वायोरिव गणावली. The personality of Godhead said, as a mass of clouds does not know the powerful influence of the wind, a person engaged in material consciousness does not know the powerful strength of the time factor by which he is being carried.
So now, since the previous chapter talked about the influence of time, so taking a connection from that, Lord Kapila further continues. Indeed, men do not know the powerful influence of this time. They are like clouds pushed by a strong wind. The majority of people, without understanding how time is influencing all of us in all these various aspects, they are simply living their life as if the clouds carried away by the wind, the boat carried away by the wind. They are simply living. They do not know why they are living, what is the purpose of life and all. They don't want to know also. Their life, yeah, I say, chal ja raha bas. Just like the dust particles or dry leaves or wooden particles are carried away by the river. Because the river is going, they also go along with the river. They don't have their own journey. Foolish men do not recognize the characteristics of time as explained in the previous chapter, though they are pushed by it. Ayur harati vaipumsham udyam astau chayan nasau tatyarte vaitorita uttama shloka vartayet. Every rising of sun, every rising and setting of sun, depleting one day from the lifespan of a normal living entity, except from the life of a devotee who is continuously engaged in discussing Lord's pastimes. So otherwise life is going on. We keep celebrating first birthday, second birthday, third birthday, 30th, 20th birthday, 30th birthday, 40th birthday, 50th birthday, 60th birthday, 70th birthday, 80th birthday, then afterwards first anniversary, second death anniversary, third death anniversary, 10th death anniversary, like that. It goes on before we realize. So like that. Yam artham upadatte.
Yam yam artham upadate.
Dukkena sukhahetave.
Dukkhena sukhahetave.
Tam tam dunoti Bhagavan.
Tam tam dunoti Bhagavan.
Puman chochati yatkrute.
Puman chochati yat krute. Translation. Whatever is produced by the materialist with great pain and labor for so-called happiness, the Supreme Personality, as the time factor destroys, and for this reason, the conditioned soul laments.
So in the previous verse, it is that people do not know the understanding of time and they're simply living. They're going along with the flow of time. That doesn't mean that they are simply idle. No, they are working very hard. Whatever a person attains with great trouble for his one's own pleasure is destroyed by time, which causes the person to lament. So basically, a person works very hard throughout one's life to accumulate wealth so that one can have pleasure in the company of one's own family members. But at the time of death, everything will be taken away from that person. Thus, a person laments too much. Or even while living also, the things will be taken away. One may be working very hard on weekend. There is a family function. Everything is gone. Whatever has been earned, everything is gone. Again, one has to work hard again for the new money. Whatever he has painstakingly accumulated for enjoyment, time finishes it off. He then laments for those lost things. So like that. What is the reason for his lamentation? Why does he lament? Edadhruvasya dehasya
यद्ध्रुवस्य देहस्य
tanubandhasya durmatihi
तानुबन्धस्य दुर्मतिः
ध्रुवाणी मन्यते मोहात्
ध्रुवाणि मन्यते मोहात्
गृहक्षेत्रावसूनि च.
गृहक्षेत्रवसूनि च. Translation: The misguided materialist does not know that his very body is impermanent and that the attractions of home, land, and wealth, which are in relationship to that body, are also temporary. Out of ignorance only, he thinks that everything is permanent. Hare Krishna.
The fool laments because he thinks out of illusion that house, land, articles, that means household furniture, and properties, bank balance, related to the temporary body and to his temporary family are permanent. The reason for lamentation is one considers the temporary things to be permanent. Because they are temporary, they need to go one day away. When they go away, there is too much lamentation. So like that. जन्तुर्वैभव एतस्मिन्
जन्तुर्वैभव एतस्मिन्
यां यां योनिम् अनुव्रजेत्
यां यां योनिन् अनुव्रजेत्
तस्यां तस्यां स लभते
तस्यां तस्यां स लभते
निवृत्तिं न विरज्यते.
निवृत्तिं न विरज्यते. The living entity is whatever species of life he appears, finds a particular type of satisfaction in that species, and he is never averse to being situated in such a condition.
In this material world, in whatever species one takes birth and roams around, and that means lives, one attains happiness and does not become detached from it. From external point of view, a third person may look at a person and see that what kind of miserable life one is living. Maybe looking at a person living in ghettos or looking at the animals living in the gutter, etc., etc. One may think that what kind of life is this? But that living entity will never think like that. That living entity will think that मैं तो दिल खुश हूँ. I'm fully happy. I'm enjoying my life. For example, especially we see in cities or villages, people drink a lot and they do not know what they are doing also. They can't even walk back home. They're falling apart here and there, etc. And somebody may see them and they said, what kind of life is he leading? What kind of life is this? So insane, something like that. But they never feel like that they are insane. They feel like they are enjoying bliss. That's what it happens. So one may the living entity in the mode of ignorance, even though he may be put in the abominable species like pigs and all, still they never ever regret. So we are in an unfortunate situation. Instead, they are completely blissful in that existence, wherever they may be put in. That is the quality of mode of ignorance. He laments because under the potency of Maya, he has accepted temporary things related to the body as permanent. He experiences some kind of happiness in whatever species it takes birth and roams. Therefore, he does not get detached from that body. Laments means he does not lament because of understanding that he is living a miserable life. He laments because the object of sense gratification has been gone away, parted away. That's why he laments. Because he is not getting the expected sense gratification, he laments. So like that. Why he doesn't want to give up? Okay, if that is the case, why he doesn't want to give up? First of all, the answer is he does not know that he is in a miserable condition because he is already in ignorance. The ignorant person does not understand what is good, what is bad. So then other reasons are Narakastopi deham vai
नरकस्थोऽपि देहं वै
napumam stektumichati
नापुमांस्त्याक्तुम् इच्छति
narakyam nirvritao satyam
नारक्यां निर्वतो सत्यां
deva maya vimohitaha.
देवमाया विमोहितः. The conditioned living entity is satisfied in his own particular species of life. While deluded by the covering influence of the illusory energy, he feels little inclined to cast off his body, even when in hell, for he takes delight in hellish enjoyment.
Just like one was quite happy even one takes birth in lower species, or even in this very lifetime living in ghettos or all miserable, leading miserable life, like drinking wine, etc., etc. Similarly, even if one is taken to hell, also one becomes happy in the hellish condition also. That means this person learnt the heart of being happy wherever he is. That is the quality of this person. Even placed in hell, he does not desire to give up that body. Since bewildered by Lord's Maya, he enjoys hellish existence also. That see the expertise. Even if he is taken to hell, even here also, if one is taken, one commits sinful activities and one is taken by the king and put in jail, so you will be happy there also. Life मजा करने का बस और कुछ नहीं. Never ever regret for what you have done, but simply enjoy it. That's all. So that's the condition because they never ever consider, they never discriminate that this is good or bad. Such is the nature of ignorance. Atmajaya sutagara
आत्मजाया सुतागारा
pashu dravina bandhushu
पशु द्रविण बंधुषु
niruda moola hrudaya
निरूढमूल हृदया
atmanam bahumanyate.
आत्मानं बहुमन्यते. Such satisfaction with one standard of living is due to deep-rooted attraction for body, wife, home, children, animals, wealth, and friends. In such association, the conditioned soul thinks himself quite perfect.
So till now there is a discussion about in general a living entity in the mode of ignorance, what kind of lifestyle they follow. That the simple thing is, first of all, they don't understand that something called as time and it is causing destruction of our life, and that they are not cared about it. They are only interested in enjoying as much as possible while living. Even though if they are put into lower species body like pig and a dog, etc., still they are happy there. Even though if one is taken to hell, also they are happy there. That is general discussion of the life of a person in the mode of ignorance. Now coming close to human beings. Okay, human beings in a life, in a household order, having married with the family members, what kind of life he leads in the midst of the family members if he is in ignorance. So now the close-up is shown. With his heart deeply rooted in his body, wife, sons, house, animals, wealth, and friends, he feels fully successful. The goal of life is get married, beget children, construct home, have animals or vehicles, and buy properties, bank balance, make friends, and if I do all these things, my life is successful. The focus of life is only these things, nothing else, nothing more than these things. In the presence of his family members and wealth, he feels completely successful. Thus, his heart has grown roots of attachment, strong roots of attachment for all these things. If anything happens to any of these things, he thinks that I am dead, like that. Maya bewilders him so much so that he does not want to give up even a hellish body. The enjoyment of hell are the food association with women and items he obtains there. So whether it may be hell or it may be here also, this kind of lifestyle is also called as hell. So his only interest is I need to have all these things along with me. My body should be good in good condition, always enjoying as much as possible, nicely eating, drinking, and other things, and decorating nicely. I should have wife, children, house, animals, wealth, and friends. So life goes on earning all these things only. So like that. That is the life. So then, if the life's goal is to earn all these things, to maintain the body, to maintain wife, children, to maintain the house, to maintain the vehicles, and to produce wealth, and to earn wealth, and also to maintain the friends, and etc., etc., all these things. But what is the impetus to maintain all these things? Why does he maintain all these things? Okay, one impetus is you want to be happy. So all these things are the cause of happiness. That is fine. How all these things are cause of happiness? That is indicated. Sandayamana sarganam sarvanga
Sandayamana sarvanga
esham udvahanadina
yesham udvahanadina
karoti aviratam mudo
karoti aviratam mudo
duritani durashayah.
Mritani durashayaha. Although he is always burning with anxiety, such a fool always performs all kinds of mischievous activities with the hope which is never to be fulfilled in order to maintain his so-called family and society.
Burning in all his limbs. That means in order to accumulate, in order to take care of Atma, Jaya, Suta, Agara, Pashu, Dravina, Bandhushi, he has to work very hard. So while working very hard, his body limbs are burning sometimes. The foolish, ignorant person with sinful mind performs sinful activities because of constant anxiety to maintain his family. So in order to take care of all these things, so honorably he may not be able to earn so much enough amount. So he takes up cheating habits, cheating others, robbing others, this that for easy money, for easy sense gratification. So he try to find shortcut methods. So for him, what I am doing does not matter, sin or good. For me, jo bhi ho, enjoy, enjoy the life at the cost of others, destruction, at the cost of cheating others. It doesn't matter. So as it was indicated in the forecast at the beginning of this current year, which is called as Krodhi Nama Samvatsara in the April. So when Panchanga was ready, it said that this year the cyber crime rate will increase a lot. So nowadays we are getting so many messages that so keep safe your online banking system, keep safe your money. People start sending mails, people start sending messages with a links If you click saying that you want this, you want that, if you click on the link, your bank account will be hacked and the amount will be taken away. And even hacking the accounts and all these things, hacking the laptops, mobiles, nowadays have increased a lot. And this whole year they will increase further and further. From this March to next March, the main thing of this year is making people angry. This name itself is called Krodi Nama Samvasara. That means by cheating us in a way, somewhere other, they make us become angry. Cheaters make us become angry. That is what will happen in this year. So kindly keep yourself safe condition. Because people want easy money. They don't want to work hard. They want easy money by cheating others. You work hard and we cheat you and we'll enjoy. So that is the nature of mode of ignorance. आक्षिप्तात्मेन्द्रियस्त्रीणाम्
अक्षिप्तात्मेन्द्रिया स्त्रीणाम्
असतीनां च मायया
असतीनां च मायया
रहो रचितया लापै
रहो रचितया लापै
शिशूनां
शिशूनां कलभाषिणाम्. He gives his heart and senses to a woman who falsely charm him with the Maya. He enjoys his solitary embraces and talking with her, and he is enchanted by the sweet words of the small children.
So in the previous verse we said that a family man becomes attached to one's own body, wife, children, home, vehicle, bank balance, property and job, etc. Why? And even in order to maintain all these things, when one's earning is not sufficient, one takes on to cheating means. But what makes a person to take on to cheating means? The reason is the mind and senses are overcome with illusion. One is overcome by illusion. In that illusion, what kind of illusion? That illusion is caused by the words of unchaste women in solitary places and by the sweet words of his small children. So this person becomes enthusiastic to earn more and more wealth by cheating others because he is always experiencing happiness in the company of unchaste women and the broken words of the small kids. These two things are keeping him enthused to cheat others, to rob others, to destroy others for his own enjoyment. So like that. But he is under constant anxiety to maintain them, worrying about protecting, feeding, showing affection, marrying of his family members, etc. But what makes him to be worry about all these things? Of course, but in order to maintain all these things, what does he do? He resorts to sinful means to maintain them. Then what gives him the impetus to do all these things? The loving illicit dealings with the woman and the sweet words of the children. So these two are impetus for a person to do all these impious, sinful activities. Like that. Then what further? So, but in spite of doing all these things, will he be happy? Will he experience the joy? Not to the extent what he thought. That is mentioned in the next set of verses. Any questions till now, devotees?
No, Prabhuji.
Other devotees?
Prabhuji,
Hmm.
Prabhuji, while in Grihasthashram, that means no Grihastha should be happy with the, I mean, whatever with the kids' talks and all that. Is it
See,
in the
Mataji,
mode of
please, don't generalize. We are talking about the family life of a person in the mode of ignorance. Not
Okay.
about a person who is leading grihasthashram. See, devotees also have children. Devotees also have family responsibilities. Devotees also work and they take care of their family members, friends, and relatives. But what is their motive? Ultimately, if they are devotees, what is their highest priority?
Go back home.
To
Yeah,
bring their children also in Krishna consciousness, to train them in Krishna
yeah. All,
consciousness.
all are connected in one sense, executing
Mhm.
devotional service in the company of all family members.
Mm.
But the person about whom we are discussing, does he have any concept of bhakti in his life?
No, yeah, right.
So there should be some impetus now. Why devotees are working very hard? The impetus is to practice bhakti.
Mm-hmm.
But this person is practicing, working very hard and cheating others and robbing others. The impetus is what has been discussed in the previous verses.
Join.
So that's all.
Yeah.
That's how we have to understand. Now, see, don't generalize. That's why in the introduction we are very clear. In next three chapters, Lord Kapila is talking about three category of people in this material world. First one, tamasic person. Next, rajasic person. Next, sattvic person. And devotees are way beyond all these people. So don't generalize.
Okay, Prabhuji, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. गृहेषु कूटधर्मेषु
गृहेषु कूटधर्मेषु
दुःखतन्त्रेषु अतन्द्रितः
दुःखतन्त्रेषु अतन्त्रितः
कुर्वन् दुःखप्रतीकारम्
कुर्वान् दुःखप्रतीकारन्
सुखवन् मन्यते गिरा मन्यते गृही
सुखवन् मन्यते गृही
अर्थैरापादितैर्गुर्व्या
अर्थैरापातितैर्गुर्व्या
हिंसयेत ततश्च तान्
हिंसयेतस्ततश्च तान्
पुष्णाति येषां पोषेण
पुष्णाति येषां पोषेण
शेषभोग्याति यदा स्वयम्
शेषभोग्याति अधः स्वयम्. The attached householder remains in his family life, which is full of diplomacy and politics, always spreading miseries and controlled by acts of sense gratification. He acts just to counteract the reactions of all his miseries, and if he can successfully counteract such miseries, he thinks that he is happy.
attentive to family life predominated by suffering with practices of cheating for gaining wealth. Such a person thinks himself being happy, or he considers happiness means counteracting the suffering. He supports his family members with wealth obtained from here and there by a great violence, while he eats only their remnants. By this process, he goes to hell. So, in order to maintain the wife, family members, family, friends, and relatives, and because there are so many issues, so counteracting those issues itself is the happiness. That is the purpose of life. Yeah, मैं जी लिया बस और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. That one considers the happiness, but when even though one is working very, one gets in the family is remnants of the family members. He might work very hard and get all the food ingredients, all the market से सब कुछ लेके आएगा, घर वाले सब कुछ अच्छे बनाएगा, तो घर वाले सब कुछ अच्छे खाएंगे और बचा हुआ यजमान को खिलाएंगे. एंड ऊपर बोलेंगे ये आपको यही है, आपको शादी किया मुझे मेंटेन करने का, बच्चा को पैदा किया उनको मेंटेन करने का, बच्चा पैसा पूछ रहे पैसा देने का. तो ये खुद मर रहे हैं बट उनको दे रहे पैसा. So like that. So the point is, in spite of working very hard for his own enjoyment, he only ends up eating remnants. Other family members enjoy, and this fellow will be surviving with the remnants. That is what will happen. So like that. Being thus engaged, he is firmly convinced that the happiness he is getting is counteracting the miseries of the life. Put dharmeshu. So in order to do this, he takes up the practices filled with cheating for wealth. He starts cheating others, he causing he causes harm others, and he can kind of usurps others' property, others' wealth, all these things for his own enjoyment. Dukkha tantreshu, these family affairs predominantly give misery only. For that so-called happiness, he tries to maintain his family by committing lot of violence. Because of this, while living, he only gets to eat their remnants, and after death, he goes to hell. For such sinful activities, eventually he is destined to go to hell. But while living here, you only destined to get the remnants of the family members. Like that. वार्तायां लुप्यमानायां
वार्तायां लुप्यमानायाम्
आरब्धायां पुनः पुनः
आरब्धायां पुनः पुनः
लोभाभिभूतो निस्सत्त्वा
लोभाभिभूतो निक्सत्वा
परार्थे कुरुते स्पृहाम्.
परार्थे कुरुते स्पृहाम्.
Mataji, I will read the translation.
Okay.
After trying again and again, because Griheshu Kuta Dharmeshu Dukka Tantreshu Atandritaha, in order to maintain the family is not another thing, especially such kind of family order. The main one person is only working very hard, very difficult. So for that he takes up so many cheating means. We say that okay, give me money, I will give you after 1 month. He will never give. The other person ask, and forget. Finally, will give up. Okay, chalo yaar, chhod do. Like that. After trying again and again to maintain himself while failing each time, overcome by greed and feeling miserable, he desires others' wealth. So family members demands, get money, get money. He gets little, and they take that little and they shout it. Wow, क्या लेके आए? मैं 1000 पूछा था, एक तो 200 दिया था. So like that. The wife will chastise, the children will chastise, and in order to fulfill their demands, he will cheat others. Still, they are not satisfied. Still, they chastise. So that is what it happens. Kutumbabarana kalpo
कुटुम्बाभरणाकल्पो
mandabhagyo vrutodhyama
मन्दभाग्यो वृतोद्यमा
श्रिया vihina krupano
श्रिया विहीना कृपणो
dhyayan shavasiti dhyayan shvasiti mudadi
ध्यायन् श्वसति मूढधिः.
unable to maintain his family, unfortunate, with useless efforts, bereft of wealth, in misery, thinking of how to maintain his family members, wife and children, the fool sighs along. Because there are demands are increasing day by day. शुरुआत में there is only wife, then the children came, children schools, colleges, this, that, wife demands home, saree, jewelry, this, that, this festival, this function, that function. So the children's marriages, this, that. He is working hard, cheating here, there, but still no way. The family members are scolding him left and right, and unable to fulfill the demands of the family, he simply sighs away. मैं क्या करूँ, कितना करूँ, अभी कितना तक मेहनत कर रहा हूँ, फिर भी मेरे पास नहीं हो रहा है. Like that. No, he again and again fails to maintain them and hence feels miserable. So he starts desiring others' wealth. And he looks at other people who are wealthy. अभी ये मैं तो इतना मर रहा हूँ, वो तो आदमी तो कुछ कर रहे हैं वेल्थ के साथ, बड़ा बड़ा गाड़ी में घूम रहे, मैं उनको लूट करता हूँ. So one day he will do robbery. So like that. This is what happens. He is thus constantly overcome by this anxiety to maintain his family. Family को maintain करने के लिए सब कुछ करते. We'll also see in the 6th canto Ajamila. In order to maintain that girl and her children, Ajamila, though Brahmana, was doing cheating others and robbing people on the pathways and torturing them for wealth and also so many things he was doing. So like that is what will happen in ignorance. एवं स्ववर्णाकल्पम्
एवं स्ववर्णाकल्पं
तत्कलत्रादयस्तथा
तत्कलत्रतयास्तथा
नाद्रियन्ते यथा पूर्वम्
नाद्रियन्ते यथा पूर्वं
कीनाशा इव गोचरम्.
कीनासा इव गोचरम्.
Just as a farmer does not respect an old bull, one's wife and children and other friends and relatives do not respect that person as before, since he is unable to maintain them. Initial days, when the husband is getting more money, the wife loves him so much, the children respect him so much. When he stops getting enough money, everyone scold. Eventually, when he is not able to work anymore, they will treat him like the useless old bull. So like that. And they shouted that person, "Why are you not dying?" Something like that. So this is what happens. Tatrapi ajata nirvedo
तत्रापि अजात निर्वेदो
प्रियमाना स्वयंवृतै
म्रियमाणा स्वयं वृतै
जरयोपात वैरूप्यो
जरयोपात वैरूप्यो
मरणाभिमुखो गृहे.
मरणाभिमुखो गृहे.
In spite of this, without disgust for his existence, maintained by his dependents, deformed by old age, he approaches death in his house. So he was disrespectfully maintained by his family members. Even he eventually becomes old, he can't do anything, he will be bedridden. Everyone will be shouting at him, "Why are you not dying? Why are you not dying? When you are dying, when you are dying, आपके लिए इतना खाना देना पड़ेगा, ये देना पड़ेगा, वो देना पड़ेगा." So they keep shouting at him. So he is already old. The body is filled with so many diseases. He is unable to walk, unable to eat, unable to digest. And the family members are chastising him. Because he is not able to maintain them, the family members stop showing any respect to him. So it's like that. They keep disrespecting him. Aste avamatyopamanyastam
अस्ते अवापत्योपन्यस्तं
grihapala ivaharam
गृहपाला इवाहरन्
amayavi apradiptagni
आमयावि अप्रदीप्तग्नेर्
alpaharo alpacheshrita.
अल्पाहारो अल्पचेष्टिता.
He remains like a dog, grihapala. That means, so his bed is kept in front of the home and he'll be lying on the cot only. He can't walk only anywhere. He'll be like a household dog, eating what is placed respectfully before him, diseased, without proper digestion, without appetite, and be weak, without any energy to walk or get up or do anything else. Because this person no more kept in the home because he has got a lot of diseases. He keeps producing a coughing sound all night. So people get disturbed, so they keep him outside the home. And he has to experience all the outside wind and all, etc. etc. Maybe in the shadow only. So, but whatever it is, he can't eat because there's no hunger, no appetite, no digestive capacity, and no capacity to do anything. Maintained by his sons and others, he becomes like a stone. He, like a dog, eats what is placed disrespectfully in front of him. He becomes diseased. Amayavi. So this is what happens at the old age. Vainotkrama
वायुनोत्क्रमतोत्तारा
कपा समृद्धनाडिकः
कपासमृद्धनाडिकः
कासश्वासा कृतायासा
आशश्वासा कृतायाशा
खण्टे घुरघुरायते.
kante guragurayate.
The pupils of his eyes bulged. The eyes came out because of the air inside. Vayuna means vata increases, the eyes will come out, eyes become swollen. His throat becomes blocked with phalgam. There is a lot of kapha in the throat. He can't even breathe properly. There is always coughing continuously. He coughs and breathes with difficulty, and his throat begins to rattle. And throughout the day, throughout the night, he produces rattling sound. So that, and people will shout at him because of all these things. I mean, why are you producing so much noise? This and disturbing the whole night. You are not allowing us to sleep and all these things. Why are you coughing the whole day? Because of your cough, we also get TB, this, that. So, like, so much chastisement for the family members for whom he was working whole life. This is what happens. The pupils of his eyes bulge out because of Vayu, caused kapha in the nadis, caused by kapha and other symptoms. He has become old and diseased. His digestive fire is not working. He has lost appetite. His pupils bulge out because of air. His throat has become blocked due to kapha. He coughs and breathes with very difficulty. His throat begins to rattle day and night. This is what happens in the old age. Shayana paritoshadbir
Shayana parishochatbe
pariveta swabandhubihi
parivita swabandhubihi
vachyamanopi nabrute
vachamanopi nabrute
kalapashavasham gataha.
kalapasa vashamgataha.
Lying on the deathbed, surrounded by his lamenting relatives. Last day, doctor will come and tell, एक दो दिन बस ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एक हफ्ता. So they start informing all the relatives. So अभी मरने वाला, ये मरने वाला, वो मरने वाला. So all the relatives will come and then they kind of shed tears. And they kind of tell a kind of concern. So lying down, surrounded by lamenting relatives, under the control of news of time, death news, Kala Pasha Vasham Gataha. The death news is pulling him. Though he wants to speak, but he cannot. He wants to tell what he has understood in life. That in order to maintain this family, I was working very hard at the cost of causing trouble to others. But ultimately, what I got is disrespect, chastisement, disregard, treating me like a dog. For this, I was working very hard. He want to tell, but he cannot tell because his mouth is blocked by the kapha. So, like that. Even if he tells, others will not be ready to listen or ready to follow also because they are also in the mode of ignorance only. So, like that. That is what happens. So, like that, he is on the deathbed. Finally, in the midst of all the relatives who are lamenting for him, that he is dying. Evam kutumba barane
Evam kutumba barane
vyaprutatma jitendriyaha
vyapratatma jitendriyaha
म्रियते रुदतां स्वानां
mriyate rudatam swanam
मृदु वेदनयाष्टदी.
uru vedanayastadihi.
His mind, engrossed in family maintenance with uncontrolled senses and with a great pain from his lamenting relatives, he dies losing his senses. He was looking at all the relatives, he was thinking that, oh, my dear wife, my dear son, my dear daughter, my dear friends, my dear relatives, I wanted to give you ultimate enjoyment in my entire life, but I could not do. I failed. I could not do it. Next time I will do it. Something like that. Something like that. But I wanted to enjoy and I wanted to give you enjoyment, but I could not do. I failed. I worked very hard, but I failed. So like that, thinking about the maintenance and enjoyment of the family members, he leaves the body. Does it change because of this old age and because of this chastisement, all these things? Though I have told that he will say like that, but he will not say. That was not his mentality. He will not change. In spite of this treatment and health, he does not become detached. In his last stage, He is lying down surrounded by his relatives. Though he wants to speak, he cannot. His mind is engrossed in the family members. His senses are uncontrolled. He faces great pain due to the lamenting relatives. He finally dies. He does not even get a small iota of detachment that what kind of life I led. What ultimately it has given me misery only, not like that. I wanted to give you enjoyment. I wanted to enjoy the most possible way. So I'm sorry that I could not give you enjoyment. I could not enjoy. Next time I will enjoy a lot. Something like that. So you will die looking at the lamenting relatives. Then after death, what will happen? Where does he go? So like that, when he dies, what will happen to this person? What kind of miserable lifestyle he follows afterwards will be explained in the future verses. So any questions till now? Hare Krishna devotees.
No problem.
No,
No.
Prabhuji.
तो बुरा लग रहा है क्या ये सब सुन के?
हाँ प्रभु जी थोड़ा
Yes, Prabhuji. Like old Hindi
No,
films, na?
old age is a curse.
Yeah,
Not bedridden.
No, it's not about just old age. It's about the way one leads the life.
In Tamoguna.
Because I am saying all these things in one sense. In villages, this kind of lifestyle is being seen regularly. People live like that only. Just they live just for the sake of living only. Maybe in the cities
Yeah.
also. Bombay, I have not traveled so much all over the Bombay. You people are living in all different places. You might be seeing people all around. They
Yes.
live simply for the sake of living.
Yeah.
There is no purpose of life. There is no like all these things. Just live, and get money by whatever it means. Beg, borrow, steal, but enjoy the life. So like that. That is the life of Tamoguna. Okay. Other devotees, any questions or any comments to make? Hare Krishna.
In our next building only, we conduct the Bhagavad Gita classes. I tell everybody, come, nobody comes. They watch the TV, they go out and all, but that 1 hour they don't spare for
No,
listening to
they
Bhagavad
are in the mode of passion. They are not in the ignorance. Your neighbors are in the passion. Or
Acha.
sometimes they are in goodness also. Even people in goodness also does not take to bhakti seriously.
Yeah.
We are talking about ignorant people. Don't get into them. We will discuss in the future classes.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. The next section is again long, so we don't want to abruptly stop in between. We'll continue from text number 19 onwards in the next class. So thank you for joining. Only 20 students are there. And I don't know, devotees may be busy with Janmashtami preparations and all. That is fine.
Hare Krishna.
So, Mataji.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
we are practicing devotee. We are also living like a same life. महाराज ने बोला इसलिए हम chanting करते हैं everything. We don't have our superior goal in our life. So how we can cultivate this thing? जब सुनते हैं तब वैराग्य उत्पन्न होता है, but after sometimes we are on the same platform.
Again
So
सुनने
how
का.
to?
Again सुनने का. सुनते रहने का बस. That's what I said na previously. Prabhuji also asked same question. We should. The more we hear, the more we become cautious. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. What was that verse? Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Chant Hare Krishna, and chant Hare Krishna. And chanting karte raho. There is no other hope.
Yes.
ऐसा नहीं मैंने एक बार एक माला चांट कर दिया बस हो गया जीवन उद्धार हो गया नहीं ऐसा नहीं होता है लास्ट ब्रेथ तक चांटिंग करते रहने का and the
But
path to
हमारा
note
specific goal, you told कि किसी का कोई life का goal नहीं होता है. So we are
मतलब
also, though we are in a हम कहते हैं so called devotee, but still we have भक्ति वैभव कर रहे हैं सब कर रहे हैं, but still we have that entanglement.
no that goal is we want to become devotee now.
हाँ.
We want to become pure devotee, that is the goal, but entanglement is there because we are not serious about our goal. We have goal but we are not serious about achieving that goal. हाँ, we say that अभी जीवन तो बहुत बड़ा है, अभी लंबी सफर है, अभी धीरे धीरे करेंगे, आराम से करेंगे, जल्दी क्या है, इमरजेंसी नहीं.
अच्छा.
At least I can say about me. I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about anybody, all of you. I don't have emergency. हाँ, करेंगे ना, जीवन तो है, अभी टाइम है, अभी थोड़ा धीरे धीरे करेंगे. हाँ, 16 माला कर दिए, बस हो गया, वो ज्यादा करने की जरूरत नहीं. So that kind of mentality currently we have.
Okay.
Urgency is not there. We have goal. We want
Yeah.
to become devotee. We are doing the
Uh-huh.
basic required things we are doing.
Uh-huh.
But that the determination that Dhruva Maharaj had, that kind of determination we don't have.
Okay.
Hmm.
So we have to just hear. That is only.
I mean, that is the easiest way to improve our enthusiasm. Here, both positive and negative. What we are not supposed to do and what we are supposed to do, both we should hear. By hearing, at least we become inspired to do it. If we hear, at least we'll do today. If we hear again tomorrow, we'll do tomorrow. So like that.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank
I
you
don't
for
know.
your
This is my
guidance.
little understanding. I am saying, but I am not doing. I need all of your prayers to do something to take seriously practice bhakti, so that become stick to and become determined to the path of bhakti. I need all of your blessings and prayers, and all of you also need each other's prayers and blessings. Not that no one is exception. We are all treading on the same path. So like that. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll stop here.
हरे कृष्ण
हाँ प्रभु जी.
प्रभु जी, यहाँ पे डेथ की बात श्लोका में आया, इसलिए मेरे मन में एक जो सुना था मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ, जस्ट उसके लिए आप थोड़ा सजेशन आपसे चाहिए मुझे.